Hey guys, just want to do a quick video on, I guess you know, what's going on with AMC GME. Um, I think it's a lot of stuff that, you know, we've, it's just part of the ride. Another thing that I wanted to briefly talk about is I've noticed an enormous amount of just, it's like they're just trying to get you to leave any way they can. Um, and I find that rather amusing that they're just going to drive the share price down into the basement probably, and as well as the rest of the market. And while doing that, writing articles in the media saying that retail is going to somehow lose money. It's like the guys in Wall Street and on the media think that retail is just a bunch of morons. And quite frankly, maybe we are. Maybe we are just dumb money. Um, but they view it honestly in a pretty derogatory way. I believe I feel that way when I watch these read these articles. These analysts come on there. They look at retail as like a bunch of idiots, and like we have no idea. And you know what? I'll give them that. Maybe we don't know what's going on. Maybe we really have no idea how Wall Street works. Maybe we just have no idea. But if we didn't have any idea, I don't think they would be on, all these news channels writing all these articles talking about retail. Because honestly, they shouldn't care. I mean, out of all the money that comes in, into the Wall Street, why are they whining about retail? Like, what's going on? So to me, it's obvious that meme stocks are a problem for them. They're not for us. I have no intention of selling any of my shares in the companies that I hold that are meme stocks. I have no intention, and I'm perfectly comfortable trading them. I'm not actively washing my shares or like selling and rebuying, trying to buy low and sell high or anything. Um, I don't mind. I personally will write some covered calls off my shares, and I'll buy an out of the money call. So if the stock rips up, because I don't, if they want to rip this bad boy down here to $7 or $8 again, that is fine with me. I will use that as an opportunity to average down. And then if I wanted to get out of the stock later at a later date, I'll have a great average to do that with. And I'll have more shares to write more covered calls. And then I'll buy more shares. By the way, that's not financial advice. But I don't mind using an option spread to cover myself for either direction. If I wanted to buy some puts to make my account look pretty when they drive it into the basement, that's fine too. Um, it's just a it's just a stock. They honestly think that retail can only play just one direction. Like like we have to buy SPY somewhere in here and hold it for a month or two, or maybe and then maybe it'll go up, and that's how we make money. Like that's the only way that retail makes money is buying holding stocks, and if it goes down, then we're gonna panic sell like a bunch of sissies. And I just find it really amusing that that's honestly what Wall Street really thinks of us. We're a bunch of little sissies, and we'll just sell out, and they'll get to cover their short position, and we'll just keep doing the same thing over and over again. And the reality is the game's changing. To me, all of this that's going on is they need us to leave. That's what they need. They need us to leave. And I like the stock. I don't want to leave because I quite frankly, I like I like these meme stocks that I have. So I don't want to leave. That's just my opinion. I'm not telling anybody what to do, and I'm not working with anyone on that. It's just I just decided I liked it. I just want to bring up some articles of what these guys really think of us because I find it hilarious. Last year, amateur investors took financial markets by storm. And this year, Wall Street professionals are watching them closely. Oh, yeah. By the way, I will say this. I've been in IT long enough to know that they are very likely doing what's called scraping of these websites, mostly probably Reddit and StockTwits, and I hope that the executives of these companies deploy countermeasures against scraping, website scraping, because what they're doing is they're going to end up deploying software they can write it in Python. Like I'm not a coder or anything, but I understand enough that what you can do with programming languages to write some code, some software to do what's called scrape a website or an entire website and find out the biggest terms and what everybody's talking about in there, and then build a report on that. And that's what a lot of these hedge funds are doing is they're employing some coders, but scraping is not, it's a very gray area, but if you don't want it done on your website, you need to block that kind of activity, because it's kind of nefarious as far as you're not really supposed to do it. You're supposed to ask permission. There's a lot of stuff on website scraping, and I don't think that these big guys, if they are scraping, they're not asking permission. Um, Probably Twitter, um, and maybe they got some back end access into those places, because nobody's going to give them what's called an API into that. They're not going to. Nobody has a public facing API in any of those websites where they can go in, and that's not going to happen. Nobody's going to give them access into the back end where they can pull reports and anything like, so they're having to do it all off at the front end, and that's not cool. It's just my opinion. But either way, I just think it's funny how they look at us. And meanwhile, retail, I've had to, I've lost some money this year. I think the first year I was in, I lost 14 grand. I came back. I studied harder. I learned. I didn't make the same mistakes. I learned how to trade better. Learned how to be little bit more mentally and emotionally disciplined. And I'm dealing right now with a pretty bad loss, and I'm having to dig my way out of it and stop trading as much. Having to make more calculated moves, and that's okay. That is part of trading. But and I don't think that without GME and AMC and all these other stocks, without this big rush into Reddit and to all that stuff where people that maybe didn't used to talk about stocks that knew a lot about it are now talking about it. I think it's a great thing. It's a great opportunity to learn a lot, but it's really good opportunity for me to, as my, I trade for a living. Like this is what I do full time, and I have other things I can do for money, but my majority of my income is from writing options. But a lot of that I got out of studying the market and learning about what actually was a good way to make a consistent income. And I'm kind of doing this as just you know, retail is changing. They're getting smarter, and the Wall Street guys are actually they're pissed about it. They have been. They have been for a while because they got their foot in a bear trap, and the bear trap's just not breaking. They can't get it, you know. So to me, all this is an attempt to get people scared and get you to run for the hills, and then they'll be like, oh, we shook the and this goes back to the whole reason why they really you know want to they believe that they can scare retail out, and I think that's what it is, like they have done for years and years and years and years, decades, really, many decades. They've been able to write a hit piece, or write some news piece, or you see a red line, everybody's scared and runs away, and now that everybody's buying the dip, they're just mad, and because it's just not working out for them anymore, and maybe they're having to scramble and try to change as fast as we are. And I think retail is changing. We're learning. We're We're wanting to dig in and really find out how they do things and how they get leverage, and that's really a lot of how Wall Street runs on. It's latency and leverage. Latency is really, they use latency as the way of how fast can they see something before somebody else does, so they get an edge. And leverage is what can they use to leverage the market so that they can make bigger wins, bigger returns, mostly for themselves, but also for their clients. Um, I'll pull up another article here. Retail investors show signs of fatigue after last year's trading frenzy, as if we are going to run out of money. And this is my other pet peeve. What do these guys actually think we do? Like we don't actually work jobs, we don't make money in the market, so we don't have more money to invest. Like, oh yeah, we got our 100, $600 checks that they were so gracious to give us, and now we're out of money. Like, what planet are these guys on? Like, we all work. We all have some form of income, so we buy more shares with the money, and we eat ramen noodles at the same time. Like, I just find this hilarious. This is just so. Oh, retail investors bought a lot less than they typically would. Talking about, I think this is January 19th. Yeah, 2 days ago. Yeah, because we know that they're going to rip the market down to the basement, and then we'll buy then. Like, whatever. Oh, here's this guy. A lot of people lose a lot of money on meme stocks. Oh my gosh. What part of not selling do they not understand? It's laughable. Oh, either way, guys. Here, I'll do something for you guys. Actually, I don't want to pull up my own trading accounts. I'll have to do it in a way that feels comfortable. I just don't like showing my account numbers, but I have in my I have two accounts with AMC in it. I have like a $35 average, and then I've got a $43 average, and I'm down. I've got 1,000 shares in one and about 750 in another, and I'm down. That's okay. It's part of it. What's funny is when you start to write options, you really don't give a crap about what the share price is, because you just want the number of shares, because if you notice, the option premiums are almost the same regardless of the share price. Like, if the share price is at $40, it's still $1 to $1.50 for an at the money call. If the share price is at $10 or $15 or $17, it's still $1 to $1.50 for an at the money call. So to me, them ripping the share price down, oh my gosh, I will take it. I'm going to go literally sell stuff to go buy more shares, because I'll get the money out of it from writing the derivatives off of it. But I'm not going to tell other people to do that, because writing covered calls is a bearish move in the first place. But I will buy an out of the money call for the same expiration to hedge against an upside move, just in case it rips up. And I'll switch at some point. There is some finesse and some stuff. I've been writing options and stocks for a little over a year now, and for income full time, and there was a lot of thought process and things and gotchas. So I'm never gonna tell anybody just go out and do that, and I'm not gonna tell you or anybody that's watching to do that either. But that's just how I trade the stock. Yeah, I just find this. Oh my gosh, this is just hilarious to me. What these guys actually think of retail. Either way, I am here for the ride. This is comical to me at this point, because I just don't view it the way that they think I do. Like I'm scared or tired or ran out of money or something. It's just if I need to, I can, I'll go find some odd jobs or something. I'll, you know, pay the mortgage and buy some more shares. Either way, guys, I am not leaving, and this is not financial advice, but I'm stoked. I'm pumped, and I'm here to see what happens. And if you guys have any questions or comments, um, if and here's the thing, I guess a lot of people look at AMC and GME, like there's these crappy, overvalued companies that aren't fundamentally sound. And okay, look, I get the short thesis on them when they were, back then when they were, a couple $4 for GME and AMC was $1.97, and we're not here because they're fundamentally sound yet. That's not the whole point. They were overshorted. Somebody found that out. We bought it. Whatever. I'm interested to see what they do with the shorting rules that come out next week. If the SEC does really enforce that, it's obvious that a lot of these big funds are going to be shaken because a lot of their stuff's going to be exposed. A lot of reporting changes. So we'll see if the SEC really works for the taxpayer, or if they work for the big boys. We'll just see what kind of comes out in the wash. Either way, guys, I hope this wasn't too long. If you have any questions, either way, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice, and this is just for fun. See you guys. Have a good night.